Good morning, JW. Good morning, good friend. Good morning, everybody. Everybody means JW. Good morning, Jay. Good morning. You have a great day. Let's both have a great, let's all have a great day. Good morning. Good morning, Sir D. Good, sweet morning. Bud. Good morning, Bud. I've always liked the name Bud. All the way back from Father Knows Best. My favorite character on Father Knows Best was the son, Bud. I was like, I wish my name was Bud. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, HB. Good morning, Canito. Good morning, Cyber Jolie. Good morning, Nerdster. Oh, nerds, I'm so excited for your new adventures that you're embarking on. You should have, as a viewer on Monday evening, Monday night watching you were lit up, bro. Your smile was from ear, it always is, but from ear to ear. You're so excited about what you're doing. Your excitement is contagious. Good morning, Queenie. I'm excited for you. Good morning, HB. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Queenie. Good morning, Sammy. Good morning, Kylie. Isn't that beautiful? That was a gift from Magical Gypsy. I've been just listening. Yesterday I spent some silent time just alone with the water music. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vaggie. Good morning, Shrooms. Good morning to all of you. We have some neat stuff to talk about today. Good morning. Good morning, Four Leaf. Isn't that a beautiful fountain? It's even more beautiful in that it was a gift. Just a kind gift, out of nowhere. Not for any specific reason, other than generosity, overflowing. Good morning, Smitty. Good morning to anybody I haven't mentioned. Oh, I haven't changed my tab. Let's go, oops, live chat, you goofball Pops. Make sure you press your live chat. Pops is on top chat here, and I'm missing people. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Jesus Christ in Australia. You're a crazy dude. Good morning, Niffy. Good morning. I love it when you guys say good morning to each other. Good morning, Summer. Good morning. Started a new job. That's exciting. New jobs can be so exciting. New jobs, new opportunities, new challenges, new friends. You get to bring a whole new you to a new situation. That's super exciting. Good morning. Food coloring in my water. That would be interesting. There is some kind of a light that they give me with this fountain, but I have not figured out how to use it. I'll try to work on that today. Food coloring. That's an interesting idea. I love this pure water too, though. Speak up, huh, Jesus? Speak up, Pops. Good morning, Mike Bottom all. Good morning, Herbs. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, and good it shall be, and good it is. And good it always was. And good it always shall be. We choose good. We decide. We decide. Nobody else decides but we. Woo-wee. I think it's woo-way, woo-wee, woo-way. I've been pronouncing it woo-way. Good morning. I feel like we're going to get started here this morning. 27 people, 14 likes. That's just a touch over 50% on the like buttons. Oh, clean. Good morning. Okay, Derek. Thank you. I thought it was Wu Wei. At least in my mind, I've always pronounced it that way. But remember, I wasn't even sure how to do Dao or Tao. And we finally looked it up enough to know it's Dao, even though it starts with the T. It sounds like it starts with the D. Good morning, Nippy the Three Pigs. All the way home. Is it 3 pigs or 5? It's 5, because it's all the toes, right? It's all the toes. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. I forget the rest. Hadestown, that should be interesting, Herbie. Good morning. Roast beef. Pork. Pork. I like pork because it's a white meat. I like turkey. Turkey's my favorite meat if I'm doing meat. I have definitely been working on vegetarian meals lately though. And then when I go see my sister, it's all vegetarian. All the time. I couldn't be a pescatarian. I just couldn't. I don't like enough different kinds of fish. I could be a walleye-tarian. I could be a walleye-tarian. That I could be. I could be a walleye-tarian. Turkey, pork, and fish. I get that. I'm with that for Leaf. My good friend, Miss Rose won't eat pork. So I can never think of pork dinners or pork meals with Miss Rose. No pork, no sausage. Good morning, everybody. Bubblegum Killer. Showing the roses. That's neat, Herbie. When we go to New York this summer, I think my sister's already made arrangements for us to see Michael Jackson the musical. Yeah. But I've eaten venison one time, and it probably will be, unless necessary, it would probably be the last time. Not a fan. Not a fan. Too gamey. Too gamey. My friend Captain Jeff, he's a deer hunter. And he says different deer taste differently depending on where you shot them. I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, you can really taste the food that they ate. There's certain foods. There's certain, deer, if they're like in the areas around a lot of apples. And so they eat a lot of apples, if they eat a lot of corn. Depending on what their major diet is. Venison has to be soaked in milk, is that right? It's all in how it's prepared, Kylie. The person that I had the venison from was quite the preparer. I thought that they knew what they were doing. So perhaps I should try again with some other situation instead of cutting it off and saying never again. Perhaps. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, it's good to be here. Deer is delicious, some of you say. Not, well, again, I've only had it once. So that right there tells you a bias. Clean, I've never had deer venison, that's true. That is true. It depends on if they run after their shot. Yeah, you gotta bleed them out pretty quickly. That's with almost any animal though, right? I was watching something, what was it? I forget what it was. But it was one of those History Channel shows. They're about the only kind of show I can watch anymore. And they had killed what was it? It was a buffalo, a bison. They were culling the herd, and they had killed a bison. And they basically was, if you don't get all of the innards out within 2 hours, it starts to really spoil the meat. It just gives you a sense of amazement at what these people can do. I've had buffalo burgers. I have. Again, not a fan. Back in the day when I had my private pilot's license, I would fly over to the island of Catalina. From Santa Monica to Catalina. Catalina is one of the hardest airports to fly into, airstrips. Extremely short runway and very windy, crosswinds. So you definitely had a tight sphincter as you were bringing it in to Catalina. But Catalina has bison herds over there, and it's a big deal to go to their restaurants and have a buffalo burger. So I've had a buffalo burger a couple of times, and I'll tell you, not a fan. Can you take this back and just bring me a ground beef, please? That wasn't, I didn't, see, you guys are more creative, you guys are more adventurous with your eating than old Papa Root. I didn't care for the bison buffaloes burgers. And, there you go, Bob. Bear burger. I'd never thought of a bear burger either. Never thought of a bear burger. I guess that would be true though, right? They have to be. How about possums? Has anybody ever eaten a possum? Has anybody ever eaten a possum? Squirrel. Never had a squirrel. Does skunk meat smell? I don't know. I don't know that one. Rabbit is meh. I've had rabbit. Meh. Meh. Not so much. Possum smile says, "Don't eat possums." Possum smile. Good morning, good friend. Good morning. Good morning. I've had rattlesnake. I have. Tasted chickeny. Not too bad. Tasted chicken-ish. Wasn't that bad once I stopped thinking I was eating snake. It wasn't too bad. How about snails? Has anybody ever eaten a snail? Escargot? I personally have avoided them. I have no desire to eat a snail. I'm French in my background, my parents, my dad. No, don't want a snail. How about tarantulas? You know, over there in Cambodia, They're not even a delicacy. It's almost a regular thing. They eat tarantulas. And they said that they taste chicken, crunchy on the outside and chickenish on the inside. Huh. Picked up a dead possum off the road. Took a bite out of it. Ew. Why would he eat roadkill raw? That's creepy. No thank you to lobster. Shrimp okay. Here's another one. Here's another one I've never had. Truth. I've never had caviar. Beluga? What is it? I've never had caviar. I don't think I need it. I don't think I need to try it. I've never had caviar. Never had roe. Never raw egg. Nurse would try caviar, Nipper wouldn't. I just don't have a need to do it. Maybe one of these days, if I was at some place and somebody was picking up the bill, maybe I'd try a spoonful. I don't know. I don't know. Mullet fish eggs. Interesting. Isn't food interesting? Food itself is interesting. Especially the different cultures and the different things they eat. Yeah. Snails, Nippy, I'm going to confess, when we were kids, we were evil to snails. Evil. I had a backyard, they had ice plants in my backyard, and was kind of infested with snails. I remember to this day, I wish every snail in the world would forgive me. We would take salt and pour it on a snail and watch it fizzle away. Watch it die a screamingly slow death. So evil. Yeah. Aaron, you too. Thanks for making me not feel alone in my evil. That's probably the only creature that I was ever deliberately evil to. Probably. Something else may come along. And if I was evil. It wasn't just me, it was every kid in the neighborhood. Let's go to a salt. Let's pour salt on a snail. Snails weren't our friends. So, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't do that. Good morning, everybody. It's fun to talk about food. Good morning. Let's talk about something besides food this morning. Huh? I had something else planned, but we got carried away with food, which isn't a bad thing. Good morning. I was going to talk about panda poop. Bamboo binge champions. Move over, competitive eaters. Giant pandas are the true food champ. They devour up to 40 pounds. 40 pounds of bamboo daily. 40 pounds of bamboo. And bamboo's light, isn't it? It's kind of a light wood. Imagine how much bamboo they would have to go through. 40 pounds a day. And then they spend up to 14 hours chewing. Despite having meat-eater guts, they've gone full veggie. Like Ferraris running on lettuce. They also take up to 40 bathroom breaks a day. Poop 40 times a day. There was an outfit in China that said there's so much panda poop, we got to do something with it. They took it and they turned it into tea. They found a way to turn the panda poop into tea. Panda tea. Holy shit! Panda poop tea. When it was first came out, they were charging $200 a cup. $200 a cup for panda poop tea. Sloths. They're not just slow movers, they're slow eaters. Sloths take it to a whole new level. They need up to 30 days. 30 days to digest a meal. They eat and they sit there and digest it, hang there and digest it for 30 days. These leaf eaters poop just once a week. Once a week, I wish I could. They mark the occasion after they poop with a celebratory wiggle. But despite the stereotypes, their slow pace isn't laziness. It's a survival strategy perfected by nature. Their stillness and algae-covered fur help them avoid predators. How do you like that? Hummingbird, king of quick snacks. Hummingbirds are the ultimate snackers, feeding every 10 to 15 minutes and consuming up to twice their body weight in nectar daily. But with wings beating 50 to 80 times per second and heart rates hitting 1,260 beats per minute, they burn energy fast, yeah. So they need the extra calories. At night they enter torpor, a mini coma, so they can recharge for another day of snacking. Wow. I remember hummingbird, my grandmother had hummingbird feeders, and she religiously was replacing them with her sugar concoction. And those hummingbirds knew her house. We'd go to grandma's house and guaranteed we were going to get to see a hummingbird show. Guaranteed. Hummingbirds are cool. Am I right? Give me 5 people. They're kind of like hummingbirds. Pretty neat. I like hummingbirds. Is hummingbird someone's spiritual animal? Spirit animal? Perhaps. I love hummingbirds. They bring me back such grandmother memories. Those were your rando factos for today. Talking about poop. It's natural, right? We've turned it into something creepy. Poop is natural. Thank goodness for poop. Especially, we're going to talk about poop one more time today, relative to mushrooms. But let's start with this small article. Smoking had one hell of a run. It survived the Surgeon General's ad bans, grotesque warning labels, and $5 sin taxes. Speaking of sin taxes, did you hear what they're doing in Florida? No, they're doing, but the guy that's running for governor in Florida. Florida, you guys got it rough down there. I'm telling you. They are really trying to legislate everything into your life. They banned everything all the way down to spores on mushrooms. Florida, you're just too conservative. Come on, lighten up. Not that I'm a fan of OnlyFans. Personally, I've never watched an OnlyFans. I've never seen an OnlyFans broadcast. Never. But I know what they are, generally speaking. Well, this gentleman that's running for governor in Florida has decided, that's right, Niffy, to each their own. Don't legislate everything. Don't over-authority things, because all you really do is make people want to do it more. Right, Corey? I feel bad for Floridians. This guy has decided that he's going to put out what he's called a sin tax, S-I-N, sin tax, on anybody that has an OnlyFans channel, and tax them 50% of anything they've earned on their OnlyFans channel. 50%. Oh, you want to put something on, you want to do an OnlyFans? It's going to cost you 50% of your income. I have an opinion on that. So, let's get back. So we've got $5 sin taxes on cigarettes. Okay? Some areas, it sounds illegal, doesn't it? It sounds like Second Amendment rights, etc. But I've stayed away from all of that business. Pops used to watch a little bit of pornography, and it was not good for his soul. I wasn't treating women right in my brain. So years ago I stopped that business, and I'll preach against it when I'm given the opportunity. And not because of morality, as much as how it changes our brain, and it starts seeing people as objects. And people aren't objects. They're so much more. "60 years of public health campaigns later, tobacco is still the leading cause of preventable death in the United States. But maybe big tobacco has finally met its match. A new Johns Hopkins trial, I love anything that Johns Hopkins is doing, because they do a really good job with their clinics and their studies. Okay? Nerd, you have a wonderful Profundo day. That could be true, right, Vegas? I get that, but I also would never want to objectify you. No thanks. You deserve to be cherished. A new Johns Hopkins trial compared nicotine patches to a single psilocybin dose in 82 smokers trying to quit. Everyone also got 13 weeks excuse me, of cognitive behavioral therapy. At 6 months, the psilocybin group had more than 6 times better results of being cigarette-free. 1 dose versus the patch. Here's how it played out. Sam, I'm not being righteous, I hope. I'm not wanting to sound righteous. I'm wanting to sound like I cherish life. But I apologize if I'm coming across that way. Again, there you go, Pops. Slipping into areas that are your issues, not anyone else's. That's fantastic, Vegas. So I apologize for that. I apologize. What did HB say? Some truth in there. But it's not, again, here I go being a regulator, and it's slipping into old patterns of mine. I apologize. Numbers don't lie. 17 psilocybin participants stayed off cigarettes for 6 months. Only 4 in the nicotine patch group managed the same. Unlike every existing cessation drug, psilocybin doesn't mimic nicotine. Brain imaging from the study may soon explain why that doesn't matter. The drug seems to occasion a shift in perspective and agency, shaking people loose from the habits that keep them reaching for a cigarette. 20 years in the making, quit rates with medication plus counseling hover around 20 to 30%. The last new smoking cessation drug was approved nearly 20 years ago. And the next one, cysticerline, is still awaiting FDA review. Granted, this was a small study, and results need to be replicated. But a larger National Institute of Health funded trial with a placebo arm is underway, building on another study from more than a decade ago. Even with limited data, researchers stress it isn't just the drug working. Pairing psilocybin with intensive therapy, they say, allowed smokers, quitters, to harness a temporary boost in neuroplasticity. Regardless, if this signal holds, big tobacco might have a big problem. Somewhere a vape startup just pivoted. We were talking about poop a little while ago. Started from the dumb, now we are here. Okay? Psilocybin cubensis. Dynamo, the biggest that they make is that they over-attend their grow. They over-attend. That would be my answer. Let it be natural. Let them just do their thing. The other secondary is they underdo fresh air flow, fresh air exchange. Make sure you have quality fresh air exchange. And make sure you don't water them, but you mist. But that's it. Let the mushroom do its thing. Keep the humidity correct, keep the airflow correct, keep the temperature correct, and let the mushroom do its thing. Early on, my first year, I couldn't even sleep. I'd have to get up and go check on my tubs or my bags. I couldn't even sleep. I'd have to pick up that bag, I'd have to pick up that jar, I'd have to open the tub and stare. And it decreases the opportunity for the mushroom to do its thing. I hope that was an answer for you. Okay. Psilocybin cubensis is the most consumed, and good luck on starting your grow, Dynamo. Good luck. I wish you amazing results. And I wish you amazing results, my friend. Psilocybin cubensis is the most consumed and studied magic mushroom on Earth. Yet until recently, we didn't know where it came from. Researchers just identified its closest known wild relative in sub-Saharan Africa. Initially mistaken for cubensis, psilocybe Ochra ocentrata is now a confirmed and distinct species. Genetic testing shows the two split from a common ancestor about 1.5 million years ago. 1.5 million years ago. That timeline blows up the prevailing theory that cubes hitched a ride to America on cattle introduced by Spanish colonizers in the 1500s. If the split happened 1.5 million years ago, they were already long separated before any cows got on a boat. That leaves us with two leading dispersal theories: dung beetles or atmospheric currents moved spores across the Atlantic. That's the one I'm more ascribed to. Spores are actually go up in our evaporation. They ride among the clouds. And then as clouds move and they rain, they're reintroducing those spores back to the place that they rained on. Feces-eating bugs might be the OG drug mule. For researchers, this is more than fun trivia. Cubensis underpins most clinical trials and real-world use. So better genetic baselines means better science. And Africa is still one of the most undersampled regions for fungal diversity. So more mushies might be out there. Crazy that we've been in a situationship with this mushroom for decades, and we're just now meeting their relatives. And one more quick article. Fund around and find out. That's a new way of putting FAFO. Fund around and find out. Guided psilocybin therapy costs hundreds to thousands of dollars, and no insurance covers it. So the people who arguably need it the most are priced out. The psychedelic field has been circling this problem for years, with hardly anything to show for it. But New Mexico just changed that, and became the first government to use public funds to subsidize psychedelic therapy access for low-income residents. You go, New Mexico. A week ago, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed a budget bill allocating $630,000 to the state's Psilocybin Treatment Equity Fund, plus another $300,000 to the University of New Mexico for psilocybin end-of-life anxiety research. The coolest part is the equity fund wasn't even part of the original bill. A coalition of advocates had to petition lawmakers to get it included, and they succeeded. New Mexico passed its Medical Psilocybin Act last year, and the program is set to roll out this coming December. That'll make it the third state to launch a regulated psilocybin program after Oregon and Colorado, both of which built functional markets but have not quite solved access. New Mexico was the third to the party, but the first to notice who's still stuck outside. New Mexicans, good job. Way to do it. New Mexico. Have you ever experienced awe? Have you ever experienced awe? It is so important for us to experience awe daily, for our brains to turn on. And it's funny, I was thinking about this all last night when I was preparing. And usually when we think of awe, it's sunsets, it's waves, it's something that we see in nature. And yes, there are awe-inspiring times in nature. But you know what else is awesome? Fills me with awe? Is change. Just changing. I thought I'd be the same old Pops for the rest of my life. I'm in awe of the fact that I'm changing. I'm in awe of change. I'm in awe of my friends. I'm in awe of things like a box full of gifts from Magical Gypsy. I'm in awe of so many things that didn't create awe in me. Thank you, Nephi. I am in awe of so many things. I find time every day now, and I mean this, it's a practice, and it becomes so easy to find things I'm in awe of that I never would have considered when I was living a life in the world and dead in the chase, following the things that the world told me to follow. I didn't have time for awe. I'm too busy chasing awe. We're going to talk about that in the Tao. Science is awe. I agree. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Albert Einstein said that. It's simple things like a glowing sunset, the sound of a running stream, or the fresh smell in a meadow that cause us to pause and marvel at the wonder of life, to contemplate its meaning and its significance. Who can hold an autumn leaf in the palm of their hand, or sip the warm white sand on the beach and not wonder at the creator of it all? The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Albert Einstein said that. That Albert Einstein was a lot more metaphysical than we realize. Awe is the beginning of wisdom. Awe is the beginning of education. You know what Alex Trebek said? If you can't be in awe of Mother Nature, there's something wrong with you. You go, Alex. What is this life if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? One more. Awe. A-W-E. Always wonder every day. Always wonder every day and be amazed with enthusiasm. Let's see what Lao Tzu says about awe. Huh? We are currently in the 72nd verse of the Tao Te Ching. There's only 81 of them, so there's 9 left to go. What does Lao Tzu say about awe? When people lack a sense of awe, 72nd verse starts. When people lack a sense of awe, there will be disaster. When people do not fear worldly power, greater power will arrive. Do not limit the view of yourself. Do not despise the conditions of your birth. Do not resist the natural course of your life. In this way, you will never weary of the world. Therefore, the sage knows himself, but makes no show of himself. Loves himself, but does not exalt himself. He prefers that is within, than without. That's what Lao Tzu said 2,500 years ago. It resonates deeply with me. This verse of the Tao Te Ching alerts you to 2 components that work together for a harmonious life. a sense of awe, and total acceptance. Without these combined forces, you're unlikely to see the presence of the Tao. St. John of the Cross, 16th century mystical poet, lived a life of awe. Here's a few lines to give you an idea of how this feeling manifested in a divinely spiritual man. My beloved is the mountains and lonely wooded valleys, strange islands and resounding rivers, the whistling of love-stirring trees, the tranquil night at the time of rising dawn, silent music, sounding solitude, the supper that refreshes and deepens love. Dr. Dyer said this: when words appear on my blank sheets of paper, I'm awash with bewildering waves of pleasure at how I'm being used by an invisible source. I get this. I've been writing and working on a book. I'm also working on my own, quote-unquote, translation of translations of the Tao Te Ching. And I'm in awe sometimes of the words that come to my mind. And I look down at something and I go, did I write that? I can't believe that came out of me. There's so many things we can be in awe of. Dr. Dyer said, I know that I'll soon be in the ocean. He lives in Hawaii. Propelling myself along the shoreline, looking down at the creatures playfully moving about in the salty water, and wondering where they sleep. How do they get here? How can they breathe without air? Do they ever stop moving? Will they be here after I'm gone? And then I'll emerge from the ocean and I'll walk along the sand, feeling the sun on my body, and questioning how it stays up there. How we keep moving around it while spinning once every 24 hours. Why the ocean doesn't tip upside down while the whole planet is turning over and over. And if the stars in the universe itself will ever end. I'm in awe when I take the time to think about it instead of chasing things that I was programmed to chase. There's so many things. I told you about a walk I took last week. I was in awe of a worm. I watched out my window, my front window yesterday, and I was watching two birds on my lawn. And they would bird walk along, and then they would stop and tilt their head. And then they'd peck, they'd stop and they'd listen. And then they'd peck, and they'd come up with a worm. They could hear the worm in the ground. Is that all inspiring? The worms are not only aerating my lawn and flower beds, etc., but they're feeding the birds. I'm in awe of worms today. Can you believe that? I'm in awe of worms. The reason it's crucial to have a sense of awe is because it helps loosen the ego's hold on your thinking. You can then know that there's something great and enduring that animates all existence. Being in awe of that something staves off disasters because you have no fear of worldly concerns. You've kept grounded in the otherworldly power that manifests a trillion miracles a second. All of those are oblivious to your ego. I'm in awe of my heart, of how it beats, how my bones every 10 years replace themselves, the cells in my body. I'm in awe of my organs. And they're doing their thing, a trillion miracles a second. And I have time to worry about somebody else's politics? Wow. The 72nd verse of the Tao Te Ching asks you to accept yourself and your individual concerns, with 3 very emphatic suggestions. Lao Tzu tells you to avoid self-limits. Accept your body as a perfect creation and allow your life to unfold in accordance with its own nature. I love the metaphor of nature as a guide to sage-like acceptance. In fact, throughout 81 verses, Lao Tzu emphasizes being in harmony with the natural world, telling you that that's where you connect with the Tao. Meister Eckhart, a 13th century Catholic monk and scholar, put it, God created all things in such a way that they are not outside himself, as ignorant people falsely imagine. Rather, all creatures float inward, but nonetheless remain within God. I do this on occasion. I throw a scripture out there once in a while. Not the ones about the angry and envious God. Not the ones about Philistines killing the Hebrews. Not the ones, I avoid those. There are some scriptures that talk about things like this. The Bible says in one place, John 15, stay joined to me, and I will stay joined to you. Just as a branch cannot produce fruit unless it stays joined to the vine, you cannot produce fruit unless you stay joined to me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. That speaks Tao to me. That is the Tao to me. Learn about the Tao by being in perfect harmony with the environment. Think of trees. They endure rain and snow, cold and wind. And when the harsh times arrive, they wait with the forbearance of being true to their inner selves. As Deng Ming Dao writes in his 365 Tao daily meditations, they stand, about trees, they stand and they wait. The power of their growth apparently dormant, but inside, a bourgeoning is building imperceptibly. Neither bad fortune or good fortune will alter what they are. We should be the same way. In order to do so, we must accept ourselves as being part of the 10,000 things. And we must love that same building up inside, that imperceptible inner nature of ours that will bear fruit. Or as Lao Tzu concludes this verse, he says, the sage prefers that which is within to what is without. Love yourself. Make no show of yourself. And quietly, remain in awe and acceptance. Here's some suggestions how to do that. See the miraculous in everything. I love the idea that there's 3 trillion miracles going on every second. 3 trillion every second, and that's just a number. I'm sure it's higher than that. And do we ever stop and think of which miracle's happening right this second? Or do we worry about what someone thinks of us? Do we count our scorecard that someone has of us? Are we impressing? Are we repressing? Are we trying to control others? Every time we're in those moods or modes, we've stopped ignoring the miracles. Change your view of the world to awe and bewilderment. Rather than looking for miracles, shift to seeing everything as miraculous. Well, I'm going to look for one miracle today. Everything you see today is going to be a miracle. Everything is. Why can't we teach our kids that? Why wasn't I taught that? You live in the most miraculous world, and your life itself is miraculous, little one. Nephew says, my life is a miracle. Little one, you are a miracle. You're not bad. You're not good. You're not what I expect you to become. You're a miracle. Wife, husband, you're a miracle. You're a miracle. I'm in awe of our relationship. Try that one on. Try going telling your significant other one that today. I'm in awe of you, honey. Why? Because you're one of 3 trillion miracles every second. I can't ever fight with you again. I can't ever yell at you and call you a bad name. I can't ever hold a grudge against you again. You're awesome. Give me 5 people that would prefer that relationship to the ones that you may have had before. Give me 5 people that would prefer that relationship. And you can have it. And when you're leading in that relationship, they start to mirror it. You start getting fed back that same attitude. I can guarantee it. It's impossible to be mad at somebody that just told you you are a miracle. I love you so much. I'm in awe of you. Oh, yeah? Well, what about the time you didn't take the trash out? That doesn't come back. What comes back is, that's beautiful, thank you. I think I'm in awe of you too. Awe doesn't just happen in nature. I'm in awe of Tea Crew. I am. I'm in awe of the people that can wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast and be here. And then the 7 o'clock people. And then the 8 o'clock people. I'm in awe of people that come here pretty much every day. Well, something's going on in their life. They're here regularly. I am in awe of that. Did you know that? I'm in awe of the kindness and generosity you guys have decided to exercise here to each other. I'm in awe of that. I'm in awe of the fact we've been doing this for now more than 5 years. I wouldn't have given 5 weeks. But I wasn't in charge. I just showed up. My friend wrote to me yesterday, he goes, Pops, I've been watching your messages lately. He's a lurker, a ninja listener. And he wrote a text to me. And he said, it seems to be one of the keys that you teach or you talk about often is consistency. Let me read exactly what he said. And we'll get back to this. Excuse me. Is there anything you guys are in awe of today? Oh, sure there is. He writes, I think the biggest challenge that I had with all this is staying the course and staying consistent. I think if I can get that figured out, I would be well on my way to finding some peace and contentment. Pops, do you agree with that? And I wrote back, yes. The sun comes up every day. The oceans wave every day. Nature should always be our model. Think of that. And get that into your relationship too. Don't just tell her you're in awe of her for one day. Tell her every day. I told you of the relationship that I had, super healthy. Woke up every day. Is there anything I can do for you today? And then if there is something that they tell you, then truly do it. That's an awesome relationship. Are you guys feeling it? Are you guys feeling it? Change your view of the world to one of awe and bewilderment. Rather than looking for miracles, shift to seeing everything as miraculous. By being in a state of awe, you won't be able to mentally experience boredom or disappointment, or anger, or judgment, or stress, or anxiety, or depression. A life filled with awe is not filled with depression. You want to cure depression? Be filled with awe. See everything as a miracle. Oh, that the United States was listening. 40% of us have been diagnosed with some level of depression or another, and I think it's higher. Because we don't know how to look for the miracle or see miracles in everything. Because we're not measuring up. Because we're dialed in to social media and judging ourselves according to others. Comparison. Comparison isn't awe. It's the exact opposite. Try seeing the invisible Tao flowing through and supporting everyone and everything. Even those that you may not intrinsically believe or agree with. They're still a creature of the Tao. They aren't your enemy. They're a part of you. And you're a part of them. I would rather cut my right arm off than to have an enemy ever again. Because if I have an enemy, I've cut my right arm off. A rainstorm becomes a miraculous event. A lightning, a fascinating play of electrical fireworks. The thunder, a booming reminder of the invisible power of nature. Live the mystery by beginning to perceive what average eyes fail to notice. Have awe-seeking eyes. Focus on loving the life you have now and the body you've got. Tell yourself that you love everything about the physical shell you're incarnated into. You know how many of us hate our bodies? We were taught to. Well, you don't look like the Marlboro Man. Well, you don't look like Bridget Bardot. So there's got to be something wrong with your body. You were incarnated into that body. That's the body you were meant to inhabit. And it's an awesome body. And if you don't think so, it's because you're missing the awe of yourself. And it's because you bought the world's vision of what you should look like. And there's so much pain that comes from that. So much pain that we bring to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We fill our heads with judgment against our own bodies. Nipper, you're on fire this morning. Affirm. This is a tough one because this is not what we were programmed. We were programmed the opposite. Try this one. My body is perfect. I was born at precisely the right time. And this is the perfect age for me now. I accept myself as I am. I accept myself in the role of the perfection of this universe at this time. I surrender to the natural course of my body and its destiny. Watch yourself change when you go there. Watch yourself change. I'm watching Pops change. I'm in awe of change. This is the guy that had to fly airplanes and float around in yachts to be happy, and never was. Never. I had to try to impress everybody around me. And every time I forced that impression, I knew inside, you're trying to fill a hole that will never fill this way. I don't even know that I have a hole anymore. I'm perfect the way I am. See your body through the eyes of totally accepting thoughts and say, as Lao Tzu says, in this way, you will never weary of this world. Do the down now. List 5 natural occurrences in your daily life that you've been taking for granted. Then spend some contemplative time allowing each into your consciousness. The sky, some flowers, a tree in your yard, The moon, the sun, the fog. The grass, a spider web. A crab hole. A lake, a shrub, a cricket. Your dog. Anything that occurs naturally. Let yourself radically appreciate the miracle that you haven't been noticing. Write, draw, or photograph some observations that you've gleaned from this new perspective of awe and bewilderment. That's your Tao exercise for today. 3 trillion miracles a second. I think the number's higher. Mind-boggling. And we worry if somebody flips us off when we're driving. We gotta speed up and flip them off too. Absurd, I tell you. Absurd. The things that we do are absurd. Made much less so when we start to see miracles in everything. There isn't just one miracle going to happen to you today. You are a walking miracle. And your children are. And your spouses are. And your parents are. And your friends are. And who used to be your enemies are. How could I have an enemy? Knowing he's 3 trillion miracles too. Thank you guys for today. The 4 agreements say, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions or have expectations. And do your best. Your best today is going to be seeing those miracles. Huh? Give me 5 people that are going to see more miracles today than they ever thought before. There's 5 of us. Can I get that from you? 5 people that are going to see more miracles today than they've ever seen before. 3 trillion per second. Neffy and Kim and Derek and Canito and Aaron and Cleany and Greenie. Gypsy. You guys are all miracles to me. And I mean it. Mike Barabal and Zozo. I guess I'm scrolling you out as I do this. Jody, this is my scroll out today. Shroom Dicker. More miracles today, huh, Shroomy? Than you've ever seen before. What an awesome life we live. Drinking. HP, all of you. I'll see you miracles tomorrow. I'll see all my miracle friends tomorrow. And we'll keep being miraculous, acting miraculous, celebrating miracles, being in awe. Have a beautiful day, you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. That was my scroll out for today. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Love one another. Love everything around you. Find a way to be of service. And treat the world as the sun treats us. Just shines. Go shine. Pops, peace, love. I'm out. But miracles are happening. 3 trillion a second. Pops out.